up to each other much more because I think to progress is to share. Yeah. So as we go back to our episode, it is entitled Mother of Us All, right? So so why why the mother of us all?
So, mother of us all, um, the importance of this is to be able to have uh, connectivity and intersectionality. Intersectionality is something that is not new. It's from the 70s and 80s, from a black American woman created the concept and foundations of what intersectionality is and how we can relate to one another, and that everything does not need to be compartmentalized and everything does not to be indifferent. But what hurts you hurts me. What you feel, I can feel. What moves you can move me. Now, it may be done differently in how we choose to express ourselves through our artistry. Of course, there's going to be similarities and differences, but we all can be relatable. And we all can see the pain of others if we're willing to sit down at the table of intersectionality. So, the mother of us all is to honor women. Okay. Women are the foundation of how humanity is even being born and come into life, right? So that's honoring the woman, honoring the female. Okay, the female is the one who gives the birth. The female is the one who nurtures at the breast. The female is the one who educates culture and shares culture, right? The mother of us all. Um, so that's why I want to honor women, right? In naming it the mother of us all, and also to honor the women of my family, right? Because I grew up with a family of very smart, educated, strong black women, black American women. Okay, um, and this is to honor them as well. Not to say men are not important, not to say males are not important. That's not to say that. But what I'm saying is that we have a history, a world history of how we degraded women, right? I mean, if recently, in the last 100 years or so, maybe those things have changed, but on a global stage, or the last 50 years, really. but, this is just my homage to women, right? I respect women. I respect the feminine divine and the masculine divine, right? I'm speaking a little uh, Afro uh, uh, talking points here, but nonetheless, this is why it's important. So, just to recap or just to reiterate what I said is why the mother of us all. First things first, to honor women. Secondly, I'm not saying this in order, but I'm putting it in order now. First, to honor women. Secondly, to honor American black women. Thirdly, to honor humanity by saying we all need to sit down at the seat of intersectionality and to understand where we come from, where the found because everything has roots and foundations. So this is the third point. Everything has roots and foundations, and everything comes from the motherland of Africa. Thirdly, to honor the motherland of Africa. So that's why. Uh, and fourth reason, sorry, fourth reason. One, two, three, four.
Yeah.
Fourth reason is so that future generations or current generations or older generations can still be educated or they can add to this education. This is just me putting my brick in. So this is my fourth reason for me putting my brick in into what older generations have already done, and also to make people aware, right? To allow people to be educated, and there's 10 different ways or 9 different ways to skin a cat, as they say. Even though that's a little brutal way of saying it, but my brick is just another way for people to relate to this information. So that's why.
Yeah, so again, my takeaway from that is that really, again, as I said earlier, we really have this subconscious connectivity to each other. That's why at the end of the day, even though we have differences, we tend to still relate from each other by sharing things that we experience. And I think over the course of the history of the human being, women are the most oppressed person in the world, and for years they don't have that power to share things. So I guess it's about time to like let their stories shine, let their stories be heard, and let their stories be acknowledged, because for years it it's been like invalidated because of patriarchy. So I guess if we really want to like feel that relativity with our co-human beings, I guess it's better to start it with women in front of the line. So as we dive deep here with the mother of us all, centering the relativity and the woman's, what is it all about?
So the mother of us all is literally about cultures. So in the beginning of the conversation or this interview, me and you talked about, and you actually gave some really good feedback and some really great talking points. And thank you for introducing the topic. I think you did a really good job, by the way, of how um, we all are relatable through our cultures. We all have a culture, right? And we all have an ethnicity. We all have an origin story, right? So the Filipino has an origin story. The Malaysian has an origin story. The Japanese have an origin story. The people from Guam have an origin story. People from Papua New Guinea have an origin story, and so forth. I can keep going. The people of Indonesia have an origin story. The people of Thailand have an origin story. The people of Cambodia, Vietnam, and so forth and so on until infinity and beyond. We all have an origin story. So, what is Mother of Us all about? It's all about connecting us to the source and the root of that origin. Okay, so based upon my research, once again, my research is entitled Kemetic Shemitic Hypothesis. And one of the foundation theories that I am utilizing a part or to support, let me say, this hypothesis is out of Africa theory. I call it out of the motherland of Africa theory. But it's similar. So there's different breakdowns of this theory. If someone researches it, they're going to get different perspectives or different breakdowns of this theory. This is my breakdown. Okay, so all of humanity has come from, and when I mean by humanity, Homo sapien sapiens, okay, Homo sapiens sapiens, that's what I mean by humanity, all came from the motherland of Africa or came out of Africa. Now, Africa is the term that we use today, right? Yesteryears and antiquity times, it wasn't referred to as Africa, but that landmass that we call Africa used to be bigger than just that. Okay, it used to stretch up and around where Europe is, from Spain to Portugal, down to Greece, down to Turkey, and all the way around to the place that we call the Middle East. That used to all be considered Africa at one point in time. India, parts of Pakistan, which is considered the Middle East, and India is considered Asia. Lebanon's considered the Middle East and Asia. All those places, all those areas, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, a lot of that's considered Asia and the Middle East. Okay, but what I'm saying is that that all was considered Africa, not by political strategy of today, not by social geopolitics, social identity, racial nationality politics. No other policies of today can really give you the understanding of how Africa was, far as the influence and the impact and how that actually landmass stretched beyond that. The border stretched beyond what it is today. So why the mother of us all? That's one of the reasons. Okay, to bring out the reality that out of Africa theory is a real thing. And we all have an origin out of Africa, Homo sapiens sapiens. The next step is to, step two of this explanation is to showcase how we as humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, have evolved. through our cultures and through our civilization, through our civility, how we have civilized the world in our image. There's another way of saying it, and I don't want to say it because I'll be taking the credit from someone else, but essentially it goes into shaping how one great doctor who studies um, anthropology and history, he says this: uh, the Africans shaped the world in their image, while we people who are descendants of Africa, that's all of us, right? In my opinion, here's where I defer, but in my opinion, we were being shaped in another image during colonization. We were being shaped in another image during our slavery time, during our occupation time by white Euro people. White Euro people. I like to say white Euro genetical people, right? That for me in my study, that points to a whole nother set of humans. Okay. So one set of humans had shaped and molded majority of the people on the planet in a different image, an image that was conducive and supportive to their needs and wants and desires. In other words, we were being shaped. We were being shaped. Okay. I didn't come up with that. But I'm adding it to my hypothesis. But I want to give credit where credit's due. So when the time comes, I will say the doctor who created this talking point. But nonetheless, carrying on to the second point once again, we all have civilized this globe in the early foundations of our infancy as Homo sapiens sapiens. Starting in Africa, we evolved, we changed, we grew, and we spread out. Migration usually is in cycles and in patterns. It's not just one straight way. So, looking at the migrations, we have all reached out of Africa